clear. And then right around midnight, work commenced on the pile, and by 1 a.m., we were in full search and rescue operation mode. To collapse an entire apartment building is a devastating decision, and the demolition was in no way a decision that I made lightly. Bringing the building down in a controlled manner was critical to expanding our scope of search. Truly, we could not continue without bringing this building down. The area closest to the building was the area that we had not been able to access, and that is where we needed to go. And previously it was not accessible due to the enormous risk to the team of first responders because of the building. And as we speak, the teams are working on that part of the pile that was not accessible before the building was demolished. The standing structure also posed a threat to public health and safety, particularly as the storm approached, given that the tropical storm force winds could have brought it down in a manner that could not have been as controlled and predicted. So I am extraordinarily grateful to the demolition team, the engineers, the Miami-Dade Fire Rescue Team, the Miami-Dade County Police Department, and everyone who played an integral part in executing this operation safely and successfully, including the town of Surfside. I also want to take a moment to acknowledge and reflect on the great tragedy that this has been for those who've survived the building and have had to evacuate. The world is mourning for those who lost their loved ones and for those who are waiting for news from the collapse. To lose your home and all your belongings in this manner is a great loss as well, and my heart and deepest sympathies goes out to all of the families who have had this tragedy. Our teams are doing everything possible to help those who lost their homes begin to rebuild. FEMA is here and has been from the beginning, and they've been doing an incredible job to sign up families for individual assistance. And we're working with insurance companies to streamline the process of submitting claims as much as possible. And we've raised millions of dollars thanks to the generosity of people in this country and all around the world. Their generosity has been overwhelming, and it is going to be very, very important to put these funds into these families' hands to help them to rebuild and meet their unmet needs, and they have already been getting this assistance. I also want to stress once again that we took every action that we possibly could to search for any pets, any animals in the building prior to the demolition. In the days since the collapse, the Miami-Dade Fire Rescue Team conducted multiple full sweeps of the building in person, including searching in closets and under beds and other hiding places. In the areas of the building that were not accessible to the teams, they used ladders on high-lift cranes, and they placed live animal traps on the balconies at great personal risk to our first responders. Also, doorways were opened, other means for the pets to escape the building if they were able. We deployed drones with thermal imaging on numerous trips over the rubble pile, and also standing in the tower in areas unsafe for search and rescue teams to enter. So I want to say as clearly as I possibly can and urge our community to understand that we went truly to great lengths to take every step that we could at great risk to our first responders to ensure that all of the pets that were beloved family members, that none of them were left in the building prior to the demolition. Since the first responders were able to resume their work on the collapse last night, we have very sadly recovered 3 additional victims. The total number of confirmed deaths is now at 27. The number of those accounted for is 191, and unaccounted for 118. Please join me in praying for those who lost their lives, the families who mourn, and for all of those who are still waiting. We continue to monitor Tropical Storm Elsa and expect that Miami-Dade will mostly experience heavy rain and some winds throughout today and tomorrow. I was grateful to have the opportunity to speak with some of the first responders on site last night, right after the demolition, before they headed back out to the pile. On day 12, these men and women have continued their mission. They have the same determination and strength as when they got out on day 1. It is a true honor to serve alongside these heroes and sheroes from the state, from the federal, and from the international teams, all of our partners who've made this historic effort possible. Me enorgullece ofrecer una actualización de que la demolición de anoche de Champlain Tower Sur se ejecutó exactamente como estaba planeado. La demolición comenzó a las 10:30 de la noche y en poco más de una hora recibimos el todo claro. Alrededor de la medianoche se reanudó el trabajo y la 1 de la madrugada nuestra operación de búsqueda y rescate comenzó nuevamente. Derrumbar todo un edificio de apartamentos es una decisión extremadamente difícil y la demolición no fue de ninguna manera una decisión que tomé a la ligera. Derribar el edificio de manera controlada fue fundamental para expandir nuestros esfuerzos de búsqueda en la pila más cercana al edificio que anteriormente no era accesible para nuestros equipos. También quiero tomarme un momento para reconocer la gran tragedia que es para aquellos que sobrevivieron al edificio y fueron evacuados. El mundo entero está de luto con los que perdieron a sus seres queridos y los que esperan noticias del colapso. Perder su casa y todas sus cosas de esta manera también es una gran pérdida, y mi corazón y mi más sentido pésame están con todas las familias. Nuestros equipos están haciendo todo lo posible para ayudar a quienes perdieron sus hogares a comenzar a reconstruir. FEMA está aquí y ha estado haciendo un trabajo increíble al inscribir a las familias para recibir asistencia individual, y muchos ya han recibido. También quiero enfatizar una vez más que tomamos todas las medidas posibles para buscar animales en el edificio antes de la demolición. Quiero decirlo con la mayor claridad posible y instar a nuestra comunidad a que comprenda que hicimos todo lo posible y tomamos todos los pasos que pudimos con gran riesgo para nuestros socorristas, para asegurarnos de que no quedaron animales en el edificio antes de la demolición. Desde que los primeros en responder pudieron reanudar su trabajo en el colapso, lamentablemente hemos recuperado a 3 víctimas adicionales. El número total de muertes confirmados ahora es 27. Las personas contabilizadas son 191 y desaparecidas son 118. Otra vez, oremos por aquellos que perdieron la vida, las familias que están de luto y los que están esperando. Continuamos monitoreando la tormenta tropical Elsa y esperamos que Miami-Dade experimente principalmente lluvias intensas y algunos vientos hoy y mañana. Estamos en el día 12 y los hombres y mujeres continúan su misión con la misma determinación, la misma fuerza de voluntad que lo hicieron el primer día. Yo lo vi. Es un gran honor para mí servir junto a estos héroes. Nuestros extraordinarios equipos de Condado de Miami-Dade y todos los socios estatales, federales y internacionales que han hecho posible esta operación. Mi corazón está con ellos y con toda nuestra comunidad. Gracias.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Vice Chair for the Board of County Commissioner, Commissioner Oliver Gilbert. Good morning. I don't have much to add more than what the mayor said. First, I would just like to thank her for her leadership and her strength in this. It's important because when you get elected mayor, you don't think that this is going to happen. We don't prepare for stuff like this. And so watching her serve and lead through this has been truly, it's been my honor to serve and lead with her because that's what leadership is. It's getting something that's unanticipated and doing the very best you can and bringing people together while you do it. Look, 12 days ago, I think I stood in front of a microphone and I said that we're going to work, we're going to pray, and we're going to get through this together. And that's what we're doing. We're praying, we're working, and we're getting through this together. That takes different forms. Last night, the building came down, so that allows us to expand our search. That's the work that has to take place. You know, as we move forward in this process, I just want everybody not to forget the praying part, because we're still praying to possibly find survivors. We're praying for peace and answers for the family, and we're praying that we can find the information. We can figure out exactly why this happened, because this side of the microphone, and I'm sure that all of them would agree, is the worst place in the world in a situation like this. You don't ever want to be delivering bad news to a community, because it's not just those families that are hurt, it's the entire community. The weight of that building coming down, those buildings coming down, is on this entire community. And it's been a long ride for us. Look, it's not lost on me that we celebrated the 4th of July yesterday. And we didn't actually celebrate, not like we do. But last year we didn't actually celebrate like we do either because of COVID. And so it seems like we've been in this kind of malaise for a while as a community. My commitment, her commitment, our commitment is that we're going to pray and we're going to get through this and come out of this together. I know that we can do that. I know that we will do that. I appreciate all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. National Weather Service, Robert Molleda.
Good morning. We're tracking Tropical Storm Elsa near the south coast of Cuba this morning. Although the forecast has the center of the storm passing closer to the west coast of Florida, we will still feel some intermittent showers, especially tonight and tomorrow, and these showers and thunderstorms will have some brief but gusty winds, and these winds could still be quite strong across the area, as well as locally heavy rain and localized flooding possible, and even the possibility of 1 or 2 tornadoes across South Florida. So this is for a time frame of tonight and tomorrow. En español, seguimos siguiendo la tormenta tropical Elsa, que está cerca de la costa sur de Cuba, aunque el centro de la tormenta se espera que esté más cerca a la costa oeste de la Florida. Aquí en el sureste de la Florida vamos a experimentar vientos fuertes en ráfagas con estas lluvias que van a pasar sobre nuestra zona esta tarde y también esta noche y mañana, tanto como posibles inundaciones debido a estas lluvias fuertes y la posibilidad de 1 o 2 tornados. Gracias.
Thank you, Mr. Molleda. Division Director for Office of Emergency Management, Deputy Incident Commander Charles Sorrell.
Good morning, everyone. Residents and visitors are urged to continue monitoring Tropical Storm Elsa as it makes its closest approach to South Florida. Starting this evening, residents should avoid any unnecessary travel, as strong winds and heavy rains may make driving hazardous. If you have any questions, you can always call 311. Their hotline is open between hours of 8 a.m. and 7 p.m. Residents can also access disaster-related information 24 hours a day on what to do before, during, and after a storm at miamidade.gov/hurricane. Due to our own preparation, we continue to work at the county's Emergency Operations Center. Later today, we will begin implementing plans to redeploy our assets at the collapsed site. Our Office of Communications will provide you with information as necessary as to when we will move and the hours and times of our future briefings. Details on future briefings. The Family Assistance Center will maintain service hours between 12 p.m. and 5 p.m. daily. Our total number of families served to date is 127. FEMA, as we have all been in a unified command, is also supporting our efforts. In order to access information on individual assistance for families, survivors, please go to fema.gov/disaster/3560. Anyone who has been impacted by this tragedy or wanting to stay up to date with the latest information regarding our response in Surfside can visit that website that I just mentioned or www.gov Miami-Dade.gov/emergency. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Para traducirle lo que dijo el comandante del incidente, Charles Surreal, le voy a traducir. Residentes y nuestros visitantes se le urge que continúen monitoreando la tormenta tropical Elsa mientras se va acercando al sur de la Florida esta tarde y la noche. Empezando esta noche, se le pide a los residentes que no estén manejando por las simples razones que pueden haber fuertes vientos y también lluvias que lo hacen muy peligroso. Si tiene cualquier otra pregunta, pueden ir a la línea del 311 que van a estar operando de 8 de la mañana hasta las 7 de la noche para recibir más información. Residentes pueden también acceder a información 24 horas al día al miamidade.gov/hurricane. Parte de nuestras propias preparaciones, también vamos a estar continuando trabajando aquí del Centro de Operación de Emergencia del Condado, localizado en El Doral. Más tarde en el día vamos a estar implementando planes para poder mandar recursos necesarios hacia el sitio del colapso. Más información de las localizaciones o las horas de informes breves van a estar proveídas por la Oficina de Comunicación del Condado. El Centro de Asistencia Familiar va a mantener su servicio durante las horas de 12 de la tarde hasta las 5 de la tarde diariamente. El número total de familias que han asistido es 127. FEMA también ha apoyado todos nuestros esfuerzos y también para los servicios de las familias que han sido impactadas y ha lanzado una página fema.gov/disaster/3560. Cualquiera persona que haya sido impactada por esta tragedia o se quieren permanecer a información al día pueden utilizar este link para poder ayudarlo de este momento en adelante. Y en este momento, and at this time, our Creole translator, Lionel Letterbourg.
Mesdames et messieurs, bonjour. Jeudi, nous avons atteint 12 jours après que l'incident est arrivé. Jeudi, nous avons confirmé que, j'en nous prévoit, il y a une démolition qui est faite sur ce site-là pour le reste bâtiment qui peut tomber. Ça fait hier soir à 10h30 dans la soirée. Donc, Kounia parti ça, il est à terre. L'équipe nous enterrée était sur place et l'équipe là travaille à partir de 1h du matin à recherche. Et nous sommes capables de dire que démolir un building, on partit dans un building, c'est une grosse décision que liée. Et nous avons fait ça parce que la structure représente un grand danger pour les gens qui travaillent sur le site. Pour le moment, FEMA sur place, la travaille avec tout acharnement que nous connaissons et il a fait tout ça pour nous capables d'arriver dans la phase rebâtie. Il y a plusieurs millions de dollars qui sont ramassés et pour qu'on y a nous capables de dire gens qui ont inquiétude pour animal domestique que gagne moun sa yo nous fait tout effort pour nous capable chercher. Il y a moun qui prend échelle, il y a moun qui cherche en bas cabane dans côté qui est accessible, il y a côté qui fait recherche qui fait dans la closette pour nous chercher animal sa yo y compris nous servir avec drone pour qui gagne effet thermique pour capable faire recherche yo. Nous fait tout ça nous capable pour animal domestique sa yo. Hier soir dans des combio, yo joine 3 morts additionnels. Et ça qui portait chiffre à 27 morts. Nous que nous rejoignons à niveau 191 pour le moment. Elsa a approché et ça capable passer dans Miami-Dade capable de gros la pluie d'ici fin journée avec journée demain. Pour le moment, l'équipe secouriste travaille en pile, nous avons parlé avec eux récemment. Ça que nous sommes capables de dire que nous étions avec les gens qui ont souffert et nous sympathiser avec eux. Merci.
Thank you, Mr. Letterbourg. We're going to go into questions and answers. We also have present here Deputy Fire Chief Arthur Holmes, along with the Miami-Dade Police Department Director, Freddie Ramirez. So please raise your hand, wait until you're called upon, and address the speaker. Willard?
For Chief Holmes, please. Sir, several days ago, Chief Kaminsky indicated that we had been through about 3 million pounds of this equipment earlier during the week of the debris. Now, obviously, more of that has come down. Do you have any idea how much more you have to deal with now, even though you have access to the site? And the work plan for that, obviously, this is a tedious process. Do you have any update on those numbers?
I don't have any updates on the numbers of pounds now, but with the building down, we're able to focus on that area that we was trying to get to that was causing a threat to our personnel. But I can get you that number later on.